Hello everyone and welcome to the Transit Nomad family. In this video we are going to be exploring Tervuren Park, which is one of the coolest parks around Brussels in Belgium. Before we get started, I'd like to let you know that I am in Belgium for a couple of weeks, and at the end of this trip I'll be recording my final verdict video comparing Belgium with other countries to help you decide if you should visit, while also saving you lots of time and money with practical tips on how to get the most out of your trip. This will be an exclusive video, but you can easily gain access to it by subscribing or donating any amount on buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. With that being said, let's begin exploring this awesome park. First of all, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I believe it's called Tervuren Park, but I might be wrong. So I will go ahead and leave a link with the name, or just write it down in the video description. That way you can copy and paste it and find it if you decide to visit it on your own. It does have a lot to offer, and we just came here from London, and it is such a dramatic difference. I believe that all the parks we visited in London, they are not on the same level as this park in terms of how beautiful it is. It's really hard to describe that with words, and it doesn't look the same on the video as it does in person. But it has lots of really awesome green trails like this with very tall, beautiful trees. Even on a hot day you can hide from the sun pretty easily. It also has lots of really cool lakes and little rivers, and it has gardens with flowers, and it has an awesome, really awesome palace that we're gonna look at later in the video. So out of all the parks I've visited, I think this is my favorite one so far. I'm talking about this whole trip. I spent a couple of weeks in London, now I'm in Belgium, and this is definitely my favorite park so far. It's also pretty large. I really appreciate the size of this park because you can easily spend a few hours here exploring all the different kinds of trails and views, especially if you decide to have a picnic or take some photos or videos for yourself. It has lots of awesome backgrounds, and basically you feel like you are walking inside a painting. We're about to come out to one of these areas that are so beautiful. Take a look at this awesome trail. So cool. You can also ride your bike here, but you do need to bring your own bike. They do not do rentals, unfortunately, at least not that I know of. And this is one of these cool lawns. This part of the park, it has like this big grassy area. Oh cool, I have like a caterpillar on my camera right now. He wants to join us for video recording. Okay, now it's gone. I don't think we should be walking here because this is like a little bit like a swamp, so we should go back to the path. But you can see in the distance there is a huge lake. I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a really big lake, and also very scenic with some islands and cute little bridges and lots of different birds if you are into watching birds, and generally so many scenic viewpoints. But you don't have to necessarily go that way. With this park you can go in any direction and you're not going to be disappointed. It truly is a gem, and I was not expecting much. Basically how we ended up here is we just we're riding the most scenic tram line in Brussels. I did some research and line 44 popped up, and then this was the last stop, and I looked on the map and I saw this park, and I was like, well, since we are here anyway, how about we take a look at it? And we decided to do that, and once we walked in we were blown away by the beauty of this park and the location overall and the nature. It's a lot greener than the parks in London. Parks in London were more They were still very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they didn't have this kind of stuff, like just like full of trees, like complete wilderness, like a real forest kind of feeling. It's definitely a lot more present at this location. I would say the closest park to this in London would be Greenwich Park, and not just the whole park, but some parts of it were a little bit like that. But this is way better because it has a lot more parks like this. If you're into tall trees and feeling like you're in the wilderness, in the forest, I think this park in Belgium is definitely a must visit. And it's good to combine it with that scenic tram line number 44. I'll be posting a video on that on my channel, capturing the ride. Basically, the tram goes through the forest with lots of trees, and it's kind of an older tram, so it gives you that vintage transit experience and takes you back in time. And combined with the beautiful scenery, it's really an unforgettable ride. I highly recommend checking that out. Line number 44, which goes exactly to this park. Now that we are in Belgium, I do want to share also my first impressions. Take a look at this trail over here. Some trails are wider that allow for bicycles to pass through, and some trails are more narrower. Yeah, and horses are not allowed on this trail, but they do have lots of trails where horses are allowed. So if you come here with a horse, don't worry, you have places where you can go. So as I was saying, the first impressions about Belgium. Well, first thing that is kind of obvious is that it's not an English speaking country. At least it doesn't feel that way so far. All the signs are in other languages, especially signs around this park. I don't know if you can see and understand what this stuff means, but I do not see anything in English, and I don't understand what this means. I don't even know what language that is. It might be Dutch. Doesn't seem like it's French. So and the same thing applies to other places too, like public transportation. The stops are in other languages, and I have no idea how to understand, memorize, or pronounce those names. It's definitely not very friendly for visitors, I feel, because when I travel to Asia, they will have English translations, or they will have like numbers with stops, so you know you need to go to like E1 or B5 or something like that. But in this case, you really just have no idea. Like, you have to know that name, like Viva Kurastenstansen, something like that, and I have no idea how to memorize that. So basically I have to show that stop and ask someone to help me to get there. Also, Google Maps is kind of useless here too. At least it was yesterday when we got to the train station. It gave us inaccurate train information, and if we were to follow Google Maps, we would have gotten lost. Luckily, I double-checked the route and double-checked the stations that it goes through, and was able to find out that that particular train would not go to our destination. And because of that, we were able to just wait for the correct train to arrive. But that was done through just my extra little research that I had to do in order to prevent that from happening. I mean, prevent ourselves from getting lost. So beautiful here. Wow. I'm just speechless. So you need to download their local apps. I don't remember off the top of my head the name of that app, but definitely don't rely on Google Maps, especially if you need to use public transportation, as that might give you inaccurate information. And also, paying for public transportation is not as simple as I thought it would be. I'll be making a separate video about that once I figure it out a little bit more. But basically, if you plan on using it a little bit, you can just use your credit card on buses and trams. I'm not sure if you can use that on trains or not. But if you plan on using it more than a few times, you can buy passes through the app. And there are lots of different zones and lots of different passes to choose from. And it's not very straightforward understanding what specific pass you need. The app does not make it easy for you to understand that for traveling between these locations, you need this type of pass. It's not like that, which I really did not like and did not appreciate. I had to use AI and do a lot of research trying to figure out what type of pass I need to buy. And once I bought that pass, today I used it to take the train from where I'm staying to a few stops to where I could catch this tram number 44. And then I was trying to transfer to the tram because the pass gives you 60 minutes. The single-use ticket gives you 60 minutes of usage, and I got off the train and I still had like 40 minutes left. And then I was trying to tap it or scan it on the tram. There was no way. And there was a person who was working there, and I asked him if he could help me to figure out how to pay for transit, because I have this valid ticket that's already activated, and he told me he didn't know how to use that. And then I had to use AI again. And then AI told me that make sure that the ticket is not expired, it's still valid, and hopefully it's valid on the tram too. But it's kind of a gray area because you're supposed to tap something or scan something on the tram. They have these validators, and I could not validate it. Also in the app you can switch between different transit modes, but it doesn't let you switch, like it doesn't make it straightforward, like you're switching from the tram to the train. Although if it's included, I don't understand why you have to switch in the first place. But it gives you these logos of different transit agencies and different kind of services. And as a visitor, obviously I have no idea what is this B in the circle, or what is that like purple thing, what that means. And I have no idea how to switch those. And if you don't do it properly, you might get fined, which again, I'm trying to do everything the right way, but it's not easy, and I'm still not sure if I'm doing it the right way or not, and if I'm gonna get fined or not during this trip. So whoever organized this way of paying for transit, whoever is responsible for this, as a visitor, I'm letting you know that it should be better, it should be more straightforward. Learn from other cities. In Europe, in Asia, even in the United States, it's easier to pay for transit than it is in the Brussels area. So far, this is my first impression, but I've had difficulties yesterday. I'm having difficulties today. I'm still not able to understand what's going on. And I don't consider myself as someone who is a little bit behind in terms of my mental abilities to understand how to pay for transit. Usually I can figure it out. In this case, I can't. And even the people who work here for the transit system, they can't figure it out. So definitely it seems like a mess. Another thing I noticed is just a bunch of weirdos walking around. You feel that there is something wrong with them, like they are drug addicts or homeless or mentally sick people, and you can see them near train stations, at other locations. You don't see them here in this park. I guess there's nothing to do for them over here, but it's definitely a little bit more obvious than it was in London. Again, this is just the first impression. I'm gonna explore the city a lot more, and maybe it's going to be better as I keep discovering new places. But so far I have noticed a fairly considerable amount or number of strange looking characters, either smelling bad or just looking strange, looking at you in a strange way, like asking other people for something. And this creates this kind of uncomfortable environment for visitors and locals. So that's why I appreciate this park so much, because it's so peaceful and it's almost empty. And look at this awesome beautiful building, such a masterpiece in terms of its architecture. It looks so awesome in person. I don't know if you can see it in the video or it just looks like not as good, but in person looking at it, it's just so impressive. And this whole garden around it too, they did a really good job with landscaping and organizing all these paths and plants and trees and water, and everything just looks awesome over here and very eye-pleasing. Definitely a beautiful place to have a romantic date or just go on a peaceful walk, or if you need a break from life, you need to reconnect with yourself, this would be one of those places where you can do that. So this is my first park that I'm visiting in Brussels, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being my favorite park. I'm not sure if it's in the city, a part of actually Brussels city, or maybe it's a little bit outside of Brussels. I'm not sure what the borders are, but it's near Brussels and you can get here easily by tram. Is there anything you think I should add?
Do they have toilets?
Yeah, we have not seen any toilets around here, although the place is so full of trees that you can take care of your business and it's not a lot of people around. But yeah, we have not seen any official toilets so far. Also, we don't know if they are free or you have to pay.
We don't recommend it.
Yeah, we don't recommend it. We recommend doing everything the right way. Yeah. Also, this location offers some pretty cool monuments and something unique how they combine these monuments with some plants and flowers. And I don't know if they planted the trees this way or if they grew this way, but it just looks so beautiful how these trees are, like all the greenery and all the colors and the shapes. Well, obviously they took care of some of the shapes, but I don't know if they did take care of the big trees or they were like this natural, but it's so beautiful, really beautiful.
Not just around the palaces.
Yeah, my partner is pointing out it's not just around the palace, but it's everywhere. The whole park has such beautiful trees. And this palace in the background, wow. Totally awesome. So if you guys are in Belgium or close to, if you are in Brussels or you are close to Brussels, I highly recommend checking out this park. The link will be, or the name will be in the video description, or maybe even in the video title. It's definitely worth visiting, even if it's a little bit out of the city center. I think it's definitely a great destination. Whether you're alone or you're with your partner or you're with your whole family, this is the place to be. I'm so grateful I found it, and I hope one day you have a chance to check it out as well. And on this note, I want to remind you that as an active traveler and business owner with experience, I might be able to assist you with trip planning, life coaching, and business consulting, with all the details available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. This is where you can also find lots of exclusive content on many different cities across the globe, my secret tips, PDF guides, and the option to request a custom video on any topic that matters to you. Thank you everyone for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.